Good afternoon, Muttonistas. It's the end of August. I'm in London. If I'm in London on a Cockney Odyssey at this time of year, it does mean it's for football. Some of you think that I misuse the term Cockney Odyssey, but this time it really is one, because I'm going to go and watch Man City play at West Ham United away. Arsenal have just dropped points, drawing at home to Brighton in a 1-1 draw with a controversial sending off. Can City take advantage of that? Join me and find out in today's Matchday vlog. Right, Muttonistas, I am at Vauxhall Station. Now, that is nowhere near West Ham's ground, so you might wonder, what am I doing here? Well, you know, Muttonistas, I like to bring you a food segment before we start. And while, Muttonistas, I sometimes bring you upmarket expensive places, this is just something down to earth, something that you too could take before a match if you're down here in London. So without further ado, let's try out the food hall and food market underneath Vauxhall Station. So as you can see, Muttonistas, wall-to-wall eateries here, all the way underneath the station. So much choice, but there's one thing I've had my eye on: British international fusion at its best. In fact, you could say British Mexican fusion. Muttonistas, I bring you a Yorkshire burrito. So there is a variety here of beef. It's braised beef shin, chicken, or cauliflower for vegetarians. Of course, if it's a Yorkshire thing, it has to be beef. So I'm looking forward to it. I've seen it on other people's vlogs, other people's reports, and friends who have eaten here have told me about how wonderful this is, and also how filling it is. Well, I was given a choice of sauces there. Had to be horseradish, and it looks as if it's served with a side of gravy. I hope I've got that Yorkshire pronunciation of gravy right. Anyway, let's give it a go without the gravy first, and it does look like quite a substantial wrap, this does. Yeah, that's right tasty, that is. It's like a Sunday lunch wrapped up in a Yorkshire pudding in a Mexican-style wrap. And the sauce, the horseradish, just gives it that bit of extra zing. Now, beef shin is something I wouldn't associate normally with a Sunday lunch in Yorkshire. However, I think that is more the Mexican influence, because I can taste rosemary and other herbs in there. Let's try it with the gravy. As one of the messiest eaters on the planet, I've got to be a bit careful here. Well, I can declare this is top pre-match fare. Again, hard to eat one-handed. They have a branch in Camden as well. Wish they had some more in other parts of the country, because I'd certainly have one of these again. I'll get on with this, and then we'll be over for a pint of a beer you know very, very well to discuss the batch. Right, Muttonistas, as always, or as often is the case pre-match, I like to take a pint at the Arch House Bermondsey, and yes, a pint of London Black. And there's a good reason for that, and that's because it's an absolute creamer most of the time when I come here. Hands down, the best stout or porter you can get outside Ireland. I'm hoping it's on form today. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's another absolute creamer. If City are on good form like this, then surely we will win. Although I had predicted to somebody it might be a draw. But more about that in a minute after another quick slurp. Anyway, Muttonistas, on to the football. And before I go on to today's match, a lot of you commented on my comments about Savinho and Rico Lewis. Savinho, I said he hadn't done anything wrong. That usually means he's had quite a good game. I've been impressed with him so far. But that, to some of you, gave you the impression that I was slagging him off. Not so. I think he's a great player. Now, on to Rico Lewis. Again, did many great things. And the problem I have is that he needs to build up some more strength and muscle because he was getting muffled off the ball at Chelsea. Doesn't mean he was making mistakes, doesn't mean he was having that bad a game, but it is an area he needs to work on. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to post more comments, because some of you probably do know more about football than I do. So, on to today's game, folks. I always worry, of course, as you well know, when City play with Rodri, we do tend to struggle. Okay, we've won the 2 games where he hasn't played, but up against West Ham at home, will they have more bite than Chelsea? Some have said they've not been that impressive so far, but I reckon they'll be up for it for the visit of the champions. So our team is going to have to do very well to win this one without Rodri. And in fact, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. We've got the firepower to score the goals, but will our defensive midfield, and Kovacic has been playing well, don't get me wrong, will we have the guile to get past West Ham? I'm not so sure. We let them score against us when we were at full strength, but although we did go on to turn the game around and win it. The other thing is, of course, don't forget Rodri gets a lot of attacks going, and as good as Kovacic is, he's not as good at doing that as Rodri. Anyway, let's hope I'm being a bit unnecessarily pessimistic and City come through. I'll be back with you for the team news because it comes out a bit earlier than they used to in previous years. I think an hour and a quarter before, and then we'll be off to the stadium. Before I go, Muttonistas, and I'm going to have to sync this one really, really quickly, the team news. Edison in goal, we've got Guardiola, Diaz, Akanji and Rico Lewis. A settled back 4 at the moment, which is unusual for Pep Guardiola. He usually tinkers around a bit. We've got Kovacic holding, then we've got Grealish coming back in for Savinho. I don't know whether he's on the bench or not, but De Bruyne, Bernardo and Jeremy Doku make up the attacking quartet ahead of Kovacic and, of course, Erling Haaland. Now, I've got the team news in front of me, and I can't see Savinho anywhere, so maybe he's unwell or he's picked up a knock in training. Also, West Ham, they've got a United reject in Wan-Bissaka at the back, and Michel Antonio, who seems to be in and out of the team, or was last season, leads the line for them, along with Bowen, Paqueta and Kudus, who are reasonably dangerous. Anyway, I hope we overcome them. I hope my negativity is unfounded. But anyway, one thing for sure, come on City. Well, so many problems on the trains. First one into London late, Victoria line down, and now, of course, my tube got stuck outside Stratford, and I missed City going ahead after 10 minutes. Wonderful. Well, 16 minutes in, probably the latest I've ever arrived at the ground. What a disaster the transport was today. Anyway, we're here and it seems we're playing quite well. Well, of course, I had to get here in time for that. Bowen playing what looked like a hopeful ball into the middle. Not sure who it was aimed at, but Ruben got a nasty, nasty deflection onto that. Edison, no chance, 1-1. Nicely worked, moved through the midfield, down to the left wing, passes across the goal. Erling Haaland, no mistake, smashing it into the roof of the net. 2-1 City. On. Go on. Okay, Muttonistas, half-time, West Ham 1, City 2. Apologies, my day went pear-shaped and I missed the first goal. And of course, I was setting up the camera while City nearly got a second. Then West Ham from a deflection, probably, well, they had a few forays forward. That was the one that was really dangerous. I don't think Ruben did anything wrong there. You have to try and cut those balls out. And then City generally took a grip off the game. Rico Lewis should have scored, but he did assist Haaland to make it 2-1. I think one more will do it here. And sorry for the lack of deep analysis here, but at the other end of this stadium, which is a bit soulless because, as you see, the away fans are split into two groups, one below and one group much higher up. It's hard to see what goes on at the other end. So I do hope in the second half that I'll get plenty of action at the end where I'm standing. Come on, City. Great to meet so many Muttonistas here at the stadium as well. And before you think I'm slugging off Rico Lewis again, no, he's had a good game apart from that miss. Go on. An hour in and I feel like a change is needed ever since that counter-attack where they either hit the bar or Edison saved. I couldn't quite tell. West Ham have grown into this game and I'm not overly happy with how it's been going. So come on City, get a grip, just get that third goal. Go on. Taken our width off, our pacey width off, but we have got a man in the middle who's pretty pacey, and if you play those through balls when we're counter-attacking, he'll get on the end of them and he'll do the business. Hat-trick for Haaland, 3-1 City, 3 points in the bag. Okay, Muttonistas, venue for the post-match review and pint is the Bear near Paddington, because I'm not actually going back to Manchester tonight. 50 or more beers here, so plenty to choose from, and they just so happen to have London Black on tap. So let's give that a whirl, compare how it is to how it was at the tap house in Bermondsey. Yeah. So yes, a beautiful point, Muttonistas, and a beautiful game for City. I thought we played really well, and I think West Ham played pretty well as well. Apologies for the late arrival at the stadium. Okay, sometimes I miss a first-minute goal because I'm at the bar inside the stadium or needed to go for a pee or something, but my journey was a bit of a disaster today. Anyway, enough to dwell on, enough points to talk about from that game. And of course, the first thing we have to talk about is the sublime finishing of Erling Haaland. I saw the first goal on video, and yes, it looked like a great finish, just like the second one, a crisp finish above the keeper. Gave him no chance because it was just so hard and so fast. Often, sometimes pundits criticise keepers, but keepers, ex-professional keepers, have told me if it's hit first time hard and quickly, you can't react sometimes quickly enough. And the third goal, wow, great ball from Matthias Nunes, who I thought was on his way out from City. Timed the pass well, hit it to the right weight, and Haaland timed his run superbly. And behind the goal, we just all knew that was going to be a goal as soon as he broke through. What a man. 7 goals so far, more than any team in the Premier League apart from City, and I'll drink to that. And as I said, West Ham did play pretty well. If they play like that, some of the top teams will struggle to win here. Mark my words. They put in a great shift today. Okay, at the end, they were pushing and they started pressing. Dangerous when you've got Haaland there, but they were 2-1 down and they needed a goal. So not an unreasonable tactic from Julian Lopetegui. I don't think there's anybody in the team who merits any particular criticism. I suppose Doku, when he gets forward, he beats players well. He absolutely skins them sometimes. But unfortunately, his final balls, his last decisions, they're usually a little bit poor, so something that maybe could be worked on. He doesn't shoot times when he should do, and he can't play that telling final pass. And obviously he draws players away, and others were able to fill his boots. Good game from Kovacic. I thought he's had a great start to the season, and probably he's the reason why we've not struggled like we did last season without Rodri. Okay, he doesn't play the forward balls as well, but he put in a great shift today and did his job 100% correctly. Rico Lewis, another good game, a great assist. I loved the way those passes were played in tight situations across the West Ham box until it came to the man who scored, Erling Haaland again. And the only criticism would be that he should have scored, but hey, you know, he's not a forward, he's not a striker, but it would have been nice if he'd have put that chance away. And it would have relieved a bit of the pressure on us, because in the second half, after West Ham had that big counter-attack, they did grow into the game and we lost control of the game a bit. But the intelligent substitutions bringing on Gundogan and Nunes allowed us to wrest control. And although we lost pace down the wings, we still have that man in the middle who can put on one hell of a burst of speed and muscle people out of the way. And as I said, no fault at all for Ruben Dias as far as I'm concerned. He tried to cut off a cross in a dangerous position. That's happened, that's football. Anyway, we move on to an international break, always a very, shall we say, lean time for me. I find them a bit boring, especially the Nations League. But we still have Liverpool to play tomorrow, and at the moment, they're the only other team with a 100% record. So it could well be that City go into the break with a lead in points, not just goal difference. Liverpool, tricky one away at Manchester United tomorrow. Shall we say it's a game I wouldn't really want either of them to win. So folks, it's about time to wrap things up here. I'm going to spend a few hours here enjoying my pints of London Black, delectable ones, until I take the last train to my destination. My next football vlog will probably be Brentford at home in a couple of weeks' time. In fact, given it's the international break, it's the next opportunity for me to actually film. So, until then, Muttonistas, remember to keep sharing my content and tell all your friends about me. It really does help me. Again, like the videos as well, because more people get to see them. Okay, if you don't like the video, don't like it, but if you do, please do. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. The most important thing, of course, though, is don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.